Name is Tom Withers, class of 1970 from Red Wing Central High School, and I am now owner of Josephson's Clothing Store at 215 Bush Street in downtown Red Wing, Minnesota's oldest men's clothing store. I loved going to school. I was an active student. I participated in sports, and I also worked at Randy's most of my time, and I got along with everybody. I was kind of I won't say a social butterfly, but I got along with most people at the school. Have very fond memories of it. It was a great learning experience. I had a good time in school, maybe sometimes too good a time, but enjoyed my sports and enjoyed my extracurricular activities. Loved playing football. Tried wrestling, wasn't very good at it. My favorite memory of sports was probably being the student manager of the 1970 basketball team with the direction of Pete Petrick, who happened to be one of my favorite teachers and most respected man I've ever met in my life. And all my friends were on the team. We went 22-0, and then we got beat before we went to the state tournament, which was always a crying shame because we should have gone to the state tournament. Played football, as I'm known as one of the smallest centers Red Wing ever had. In fact, the year that they put my weight in the program, they put down 135 pounds, but I actually wrestled 115 pounds that year. It gave me some guts. I was willing to take chances. As a small lineman in those days, I was lucky I had two big guys on my side so that we learned to have teamwork. We knew how we were going to block people. I think that my leadership has gone out of the football field and into my work business. I was one of the first local assistant managers of Randy's when they first opened up. I was there the first day. From there, I went into the clothing business at Johnson & Meyer, and then was hired away from Johnson & Meyer by Paul and Lawrence to manage real estate up in Hastings, where my wife and I took care of about 145 apartment units. And then after getting hurt up there, my doctor told me I should try to find a different line of work, and by chance the same day the Yankee Peddler over at the St. James called me and offered me a managership of their clothing store. And then after undergoing open heart and getting a valve replacement, I came home and went into congestive heart failure, and my wife and I decided to write the Josephsons a letter and see if they would be interested in selling the store. And it took Tom and I about 3 years to come to terms. He wasn't quite ready to retire yet, but so on August 3rd, 1992, Denise and I, my wife, we bought the store. Stick-to-itiveness. Don't give up on your dreams. Owning a men's clothing store wasn't always my dream. My first dream was to own a McDonald's. When the position came up that I could possibly buy a men's clothing store, I was excited. We're here to assist the customer in looking their best. Back in the 70s, I wanted to take home ec, and they wouldn't allow you to take home ec because I was a guy. You had to take shop. Girls were not allowed to take shop. They had to take home ec. Is I do all the alterations in the sewing here, not all of it, but 90% of it. And they would never let me be allowed to take home ec to learn how to sew. So I had to do it on the job training. When I first went to work at Johnson & Meyer, I used to watch the lady who was a seamstress over there. I watched the seamstress at Yankee Peddler, and when I bought the store here, Tom Josephson just sat down and he showed me the alteration book, and he says, this is how I lower a collar, this is how I shorten sleeves. So it was all on the job training. So I am a firm believer in on the job training. I say there's nothing wrong with it. And as I said before, I did not go to college, and everything that I've kind of learned in life has been through on the job or life skills, and I have no regrets for that. Yes, there's need for people to go to college so that we can find a cure for cancer, so on and so forth, but on the job training has never hurt anybody.